This is the Misfit, Crystal Moon, and you're listening to Wrestling with Entertainment.
Yo guys, it's the psychedelic psychonaut Christian Robinson here, and you're listening to Wrestling with Entertainment.
This is your friend Ike, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment.
Hello, and welcome to the show. It's Wrestling with Entertainment, bringing you the latest exclusive breaking news, previewing and reviewing the latest shows from WWE, AEW, New Japan, everything in between every Saturday, and interviewing all your favorite wrestlers every Wednesday on YouTube and Castbox, sponsored by Rogue Energy. Use promo code Wrestling with E for 10% off your next purchase. I am, of course, your host, James Shea, alongside Kaliko Yachts.
Last joke for Halloween. What's an optimistic vampire's favorite blood? Be positive. Got it.
And Scooter Just, who will not be joining us tonight. But it's still a great day for wrestling, because we are wrestling with the Dirty Drifter, Ike The Bite.
Hello there. Thanks for having me on again. I appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely. How are you today, Ike?
I'm wonderful.
And what do you have coming up next?
Right now, this upcoming weekend, I'll be at in Dedham, Massachusetts at Ncw, No Fear. And on Saturday, I'll be at Pine State Pro Wrestling, the debut show for Pine State Pro Wrestling up in Augusta, Maine.
Ooh, interesting.
That should be a fun weekend.
And where can we find you on social media and merchandise?
On social media, you can find me on Facebook at Ike. And on Twitter, you can just find me at Ike The Bite, I think is my handle.
And you don't and merchandise?
Merchandise? I don't have any right now. I'm about to be making some more t-shirts soon, and you can grab those at any show you see me at.
All right. And you can find all those links in the description of the video below, both on YouTube and Castbox. And now you work for Ncw and Limitless Wrestling. Can you tell us about your relationship with those companies?
With NCW, that was one of the companies that gave me my start, my first start like 5 years ago. It's a small company, but a really fun show out down in southern Massachusetts. They run Rhode Island a bit. I've been there. Always probably one of my favorite locker rooms to be in. Just the atmosphere is always really good, like not tense, loose. And as far as Limitless goes, I've worked for Limitless a little bit here and there, but I've mostly done stuff with their sister promotion, Let's Wrestle, with Randy Carver. He runs both of them. It's also a really fun show, good place to be. And I haven't been up there in a while, mainly due to the pandemic. They were running tapings last year, but having a baby at the time, couldn't really make it up there. Oh, thank you, appreciate it.
Yeah, congrats.
I appreciate it, guys. But yeah, so I couldn't really make it up for those ones just because timing wise, like the first taping they did was it was a COVID scare with my fiance, so I bowed out of it. And the next two, she didn't actually have it, fortunately, but it was just a coworkers, close contact. So I was like, let me be safe and not go and do something from get someone else sick. But and the next two were basically the one right before. It was like 2 weeks of giving birth, and the next one was like a month after. So I was like, I'm not gonna rush up there right now with a new baby here. So, but hopefully I can get back up to Maine soon with Limitless. It's a good place to be.
Well, sounds like you were busy with just life in general.
Yeah, pretty much from like March, I think 14th, 2020 was the last show I had, up until I started doing the NCW tapings, which they started doing in March of this year. So basically a year out the ring.
Kalika, you have a question?
Well, as a person who has a kid myself, man, you probably never knew what sleep was until you had a kid.
Oh, yeah. Oof, yeah. He'll keep you up. They will keep
you up. Yeah, that sleep, when you had that first sleep, but they sleep is like, oh my God, thank God. But
But my fiance is the superhero there. I don't know what I'd be able to. I don't know. I don't know if I'd be able to handle it by myself. So like she does. She takes care of a lot of it. And just helps me get through it personally. So she's the hero there.
see, shout out to the future Mrs. Ike the Bite, superhero. Now going to the pandemic part. You said it was a year. It was roughly a year since you got back in the ring. And the one thing I always ask people is, what do you think was the most difficult transition that you had to make for yourself as a wrestler getting back into the ring, be a character-wise? Because especially having that long of a layoff in yourself due to life, you think of these new things you want to implement and how they have to incorporate with the character that you already started with. So what was the biggest difficult hurdle that you had coming back into the ring, trying to implement something new?
That whole time I was out, I was like itching to get back, but trying to come up with ideas to evolve. Because beforehand, I felt like I was a little bit more limited and with the character, which people loved. People loved the gimmick. People loved all of that. But I also just felt it had its like limitations. So trying to evolve it, and really, it's just kind of trying to before I kind of knew what I was, but now trying to transition it is kind of like the hardest part is like, what am I? Like, what is my motivation here? Because before it was like, oh, I'm really wild. I'm like kind of, I bite people just out of my mind. But right now I've tried to transition into a more sane, kind of calculated type of a gimmick. And it's just kind of, that was really the hardest part, just trying to find out like my place, like what am I doing? Like before I knew, now it's trying to feel it out and get back in, and not having any fans there other than, because it was tapings for the longest time. And just in front of the boys in the locker room, you don't really get that, because they kind of know. They know when to cheer, when to boo, when to try to get you up, and just can, basically, reaction. So it's kind of hard to tell, is this working, is this not working?
Right.
I hope that was a good answer.
No, that was great. So, because the one thing that I noticed with your character when you were doing your promos, it seemed like it was a go with the flow type of style, as you were saying. It was kind of like just trying to get in where you fit in. So it does make sense, you trying to get into a lane and stick to it. So it makes total sense.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
how was that, adjustment of, not wrestling in front of a crowd, and now kind of coming back to it?
It was weird. Like I've done some tapings before, because like Limitless, even before the pandemic, would do like tapings at their dojo. So I'm kind of there in front of just working in front of the boys. But to me, it was kind of just like, it was like almost like an amped up practice match. Like if you're at training and you're like, okay, let's just work out a match and let's do whatever, and you just have like a couple of the students and your trainers watching. It's kind of like that. It was like basically just the amped up version where you're really trying not to screw anything up and just do your best.
Now your match at Pandemic at the Dojo, you wrestled Jacob Drifter, where you almost shift him. Could you tell us about that?
Well, you always got to carry something to protect yourself. It's streets are wild.
Okay.
And a drifter, you never know what he's gonna have on him either. So he's got to stab the guy sometimes. Try to stab the guy.
Okay, but where did the crowbar come from?
Well, the crowbar is a useful tool, as far as wrestling goes, because you're driving a lot of places. You might need to change a tire or smack a couple dudes on the head. You never know when your crowbar's gonna come in handy.
Okay, yes, I get all this, but isn't he like your friend and tag team partner?
Well, at that point we were still, kind of feeling each other out.
Oh, okay.
But we've grown to be cool now. We don't mess with each other too much.
All right, fair enough. Kaliko, you have a question.
James, what he's trying to say is when you got the Thule, it has no name on it. Anyone can get it, sir. That's what he's trying to say. Anybody can get the Thule. Now, you were recently the #1 contender for the NCW New England Championship. and especially speaking about how like you just got back and how gratifying was that opportunity? To even get to the championship, and did that motivate you to enhance, to enhance your goals? Do you see yourself as the champion and being the number one guy one day?
I would. I mean, at some point or another, I'd like to get an opportunity with some company somewhere to, tell them to put that what's the word I'm looking for? Put that on me, basically, just to see what I can do and see if I can help carry a company. But again, the opportunity NCW gave me was really cool. For the most part, I've always been more tag teaming, or I haven't really had a good opportunity to really get into a singles competition, singles matches, and all that. So being able to have a little bit more of a spotlight on you, just me and the other dude, I appreciate a lot from APW, and I really do like having those opportunities. So I feel like I amped up my game a little bit more to be like, okay, yeah, I can go out and I could be one of the two people out there, and it doesn't need to be a 6-man or a handicap match or whatever the case may be, or basically a multi-man match. I really do like singles matches the best, personally.
So to follow that answer, do you feel that match was like the aha moment for you to give you the confidence of, hey, I can actually do this. I can actually become the champion. I can actually, it gives you that aha moment, like that instant high, if you will, for lack of a better word.
That match I felt pretty good about. I got a lot of really good feedback on it from a lot of people. Some people said that was the best they've seen me, and which is a compliment considering that was the third match or fourth match I had since the pandemic, and I had obviously hadn't been in a ring other than the 2 or 3 previous times, since I hadn't been training either in that whole time. So
Oh wow.
being able to come back and have people tell me I've improved is pretty cool, considering if I can actually get back. I'm going to start getting back to training regularly soon, but just makes me think oh well, hell, if I can get better with not doing anything in a year, just think if I started really reapplying myself like I was for so long. So
That's
to answer your question, yeah, get me a little bit more confidence.
That's actually impressive. Your third match back. Do you think by you being away with your wife, obviously your future wife and your kid, it kind of gave you a different perspective rather than having to, you said you were itching, but did it give you that having the family kind of gave you the perspective of not dwelling on it 24/7 like everyone else was doing during the pandemic if they didn't have a kid?
I'd say that's fair to say, having other things going on and other things to do, not taking away from wrestling at all, your desire to do it, but having other needs or things going on to kind of take your mind off of it and kind of step you back a little bit. So it did kind of help me refocus a bit, because I did watch a lot of stuff just to try to come up with ideas. A lot of stuff from the 80s and 70s, just try to come up with stuff, but no pressure and immediately, okay, I saw this the other day, I'm really going to go do it, just put it on the back burner. And when the opportunity came, just made the most of it.
I'd like to know about that first match back, considering that you just said you didn't train before that. So how did that first match kind of go, with taking that first bump back in the ring after almost a year out?
The first one I had back was with Alexander Lee. I think it aired on the first NCW. I see you guys have been doing your homework a little bit, but you might have ended up catching it. But yeah, it was on the first NCW behind closed doors taping they put up. It was solid. I felt it a little bit, feeling it out. I was a little bit concerned, but if I was gonna remember how to do this. But for the most part, I did, and for the most part, it went pretty well. The only issue I had afterwards, I was like, damn. I don't know if it's wearing those masks for so long or me just, not being in the ring, but I cannot breathe at all. And I usually have wonderful cardio. Usually that's never an issue.
All right. Now, can you tell us about your tag team partners in the Dirty Drifters, Jacob Drifter and Doug Weiser? How did you guys meet, and what's your relationship with them?
The relationship is pretty good. Jacob I've known for a little bit, for a few years before we even started tagging. He was up in Maine working with IWE and Jason Rumble's promotion VCW. He was doing stuff there. Then we just randomly as far as becoming a tag team, and he started training at the Limitless Dojo. We had that match with each other after taping. Next thing you know, they thought we had some chemistry, so they put us in a tag match. I'm not sure if that even got put up ever, but they liked it a lot. And next thing you know, we decided tagging. So I talk to Jacob pretty regularly. He's always sending me like new gear ideas and just new stuff because he's been wrestling through the pandemic. And as far as Dalton goes, he's taking a little hiatus. I think he had a match back with Wrestlers Lab in New York and New Jersey, but I think that's the only one he's had since the beginning of the pandemic. I met him there. That's the first time I met him was at like the first taping because he just started training again. He was doing commentary for the taping. Ironically enough, or coincidentally enough, I'm homeschooled. Sometimes grammar throws me off, but he trained at the place I trained at, New England Pro Wrestling Academy, just like a couple years beforehand, like a year or two before I got there. So we never crossed paths there, but we kind of had the same background.
All right. Kaliko, you have a question.
Yes, you got right into the next topic, which was CZW. You did a handful of matches there. I just want you to elaborate, if you could, on the experience of getting the opportunity to be at a company like CZW, especially when you think of all the alumni that was there, and most notably the one that kind of comes to mind with most people, John Moxley and Brody Lee. So how was that experience? Was it a humbling experience? Was it a very exciting experience? A nerve-wracking experience? Tell us about it.
For the most part, it was just another opportunity to get in front of people, and I always get a little excited and nervous when I'm going to new places. Fortunately, I drove down like 4 or 5 other people I know, but anytime I go into a new locker room of any sort, it's like, am I going to know anyone here? How are they going to receive me? How am I going to receive them? Am I going to rub anyone the wrong way? All that. But for the most part, being down in CZW for the like 3 or 4 times I went down, it was pretty cool. I mean, Michael Langen was the guy booking the dojo at the time when they were doing it. He was always good to me. I never had an issue with DJ Hyde. But the whole locker room was pretty cool for the most part. The only regret I got from that is the first match I did down there was probably my favorite one, and I never got it on tape.
Ooh.
I think they might have it on tape somewhere, but I don't know. They record so many things, probably lost in the ether right now. But maybe it'll pop up here one of these days.
What was the match, might I ask?
Jason Sinclair. That man.
Okay.
Oh, you okay? You really do your homework on this stuff. I didn't think anyone would have known about that ever, except if you were like one of like the few people in attendance or in the locker room. But yeah, that was Jason Sinclair.
We're not the feds, I promise.
Yes.
What color's my shirt right now? You gotta watch me.
Now, can you tell us about a conversation you had with Mick Foley?
Oh, that was a regretful conversation just because I didn't feel like I dove deep enough, mainly because I was thrown off of the fact that he just started chiming in. But I was at Blitzkrieg Pro Wrestling, and my buddy Casey, who was there just helping out, he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna go get food for some of the guys. You want anything?" I was like, I don't have any money, but on me right now, come bring cash. But if you want to get me something, go get it. I'll pay you later. He said, "Cool." So he jumped in my car and he took off because I was drove down. He came back and he came over to the locker room, and his buddy, who happened to be a referee there, they came back and he handed me my food and we were talking, and he handed it to me and I was like, "Casey, dude, you know I don't eat meat." He handed me chicken nuggets. What the hell? And I'm like, damn. Like, and it's like, oh, well, if you don't want them, I'll have them. Him and his buddy started eating. I'm like, this was like a setup. You just want to eat chicken nuggets. And then, like, randomly, Mick Foley started chiming in, telling me about how he cut out most meat, fat, and, like, meat proteins from his diet. And I was like, oh, I basically left verbatim was, oh, really? I'm trying to completely cut that out outside of maybe, like, some dairy products here and there. and he said something else, and then I said one more thing, and then Casey distracted me, and I started making jokes with Casey again, and then wandered off. And after like 5 minutes, I was like, damn, I could have had a full-blown conversation with McFoley about dietary issues, and not issues, but dietary choices. And yeah, I left that one on the table. Hopefully I get another opportunity one day.
Well, yeah, and I mean, did you kind of implement those dietary the advice he gave you?
A little bit more, because I mean, he said he made him feel pretty good outside of the occasional indulging he said he does, which I can respect. I do indulge myself. I mean, as far as like dairy products go, I mean, I still don't eat meat. Like, if I'll eat fish every now and then, but for the most part, yeah, it was solid information. At least I know it works for him, and it's been working for me. So it's not just in my head.
All right. And Kalika, you have a question.
Who is the handler? Because they are funny as hell. That's all he's funny.
Yeah, you know the handler.
They are funny.
Well, you know the handler, duality. The handler just is. The handler lives in all of us. Let's put it that way.
I have a theory that it's Kevin Durant on the slow, because he always known for having burner accounts.
KD with the burner account. He probably would have jumped ship by now.
Oh my God.
Now, could you tell us about a match you had where you kind of channeled your inner Goldberg?
Oh, that was at Kids Day. Just a few. That was the first show I did in front of fans. It was like just a show Ncw runs every year down at the Attleboro Kids Day. I think it's Attleboro, it might be South Attleboro. But yeah, Spear Jackhammer. I felt pretty good that day. Tim Lennox was on the mic. He was getting under my skin a little bit, so when he turned around, he wants to turn his back on me. I gave him a surprise when he finally faced me again. Spear, Jackhammer. That was a fun match. It was really kind of awkward in the sense that it was like, why am I Goldberg right now? But whatever. Hey, the kids are eating it up. It's at a fair essentially, so you know what? Screw it. I'll give him a jackhammer. My only problem with that was like, damn, am I gonna be able to give this guy a jackhammer? He weighs like 100 pounds more than me, but it worked out.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like you got him up there.
I got him up.
So does
that with the kid in the background telling him he's stupid was the best timing ever. He's stupid. Boom, spear.
The best part of that for me was like watching the video back, and my friend Foxy Calvin Campbell, who recorded it, just giggling to himself the whole time. I was like, you're making this really hard to put up.
So does that make your opponent Brock Lesnar, since you kind of give him the spear jackhammer?
I like to think of Tim Lennox more of a throwback to Hulk Hogan back in the 90s.
Oh, all right. Kaliko, you have a question.
Now, we know that you're just getting back into the swing of things as far as wrestling and pursuing this. The one thing I always tell people is try to elaborate like that work-life balance, especially with a newborn. Could you just elaborate on the difficulty of that? Because I, for one, am very inspired that you are even able to handle it. I mean,
yeah, that's a kind of a rough ball to handle, because if I'm not going to get my face out there, or if I don't have a booking, I can't a little bit like, oh man, I'm not doing anything this week. It's kind of brings me down a little bit. But then hanging out with the baby always brings me right back up. But like, it is that kind of weird balance of like, oh, I got to go to Maine on Saturday. It's only a 2.5 hour drive. I'll be back before midnight, but the anxiety of being away does kind of hit a little hard. It does make me think a little bit about hitting up other promotions, which I do. You know, you do diligence, throw your stuff out there. But like, if I got booked down, say in Carolina, I would be like, should I do I go down, try to take the 12-hour drive down there, get the show, hop on, come all the way back? Maybe I can make it a family trip and we can just spend the weekend down there. But like, yeah, being away from the idea of being away from the baby is definitely a little nerve-wracking, especially with him being a baby and not even just COVID. I don't want to bring back colds, flus, RSV, and all that stuff. So it gets
Right.
that is also a concern. But at the same time, on the flip side, like I said, if I'm not like putting my best effort into wrestling, I start like beating myself up a little bit on that. Like, no, you can do better. You can get out there more. So it's kind of like a catch-22 almost. So you just gotta. The way I see it is, when I'm wrestling, I'll keep in touch, make sure everything's good, and get back as soon as I can. But be focused on wrestling as well. When I'm here and with the baby, not even worry about it, because I mean, at the end of the day, baby is number one.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think some people kind of forget that the world was already a scary place before COVID hit, right?
Definitely.
Can you tell us about the Dirty Drifters when they wrestled the Main State Posse?
That was an interesting match. It's just for the fact that it was really cool for them because of MSP as their trainers. So me and MSP kind of came in like I think we came in and started working around the same time. They might have a year or two on me. I might have a few months on them. I'm not exactly sure about dates. But it was an interesting match because it was a good opportunity because MSP is obviously a big deal up in Maine with Limitless and all that. So basically it's kind of like a litmus test. Like, okay, we're working with your guys. And it was really big again for Jacob and Dalton for the fact that they're their students. So I just wanted to make sure that Jacob and Dalton were relaxed and calm and focused and not worrying too much. And I was more focused on making sure they were good and
I did
to make sure they were good.
I did notice that all your matches in Limitless were were handicapped matches. Either 2-on-3, a 2-on-3 or 2-on-1. Was that kind of intentional, or how it just kind of fell, or how did all that come about?
I'm not sure what the motivation for that was. There was a lot of times that anytime we were all tagging together, it would seem to be a handicap match. I don't think we ever had a 6-man. I know Dave had it would be more or less if we weren't all tagging. If we were all tagging together, it would be a handicap match. If we weren't all tagging together, it would be Jacob and Dalton in a tag match and me either in a singles match or a scramble. But yeah, I'm not exactly sure what the motivation was, but it just kind of played out that way, I guess.
Kaliko, you have a question.
Is your dream match really against Kangaroo Jack?
I mean, if I ever get booked out in Australia, I'd be like, I hope you're bringing Kangaroo Jack in because I want that kangaroo.
I mean, I think we could find you the punching kangaroo, the one that.
I want a rapping kangaroo.
I think Matt Hardy has a kangaroo, if I'm not mistaken.
If he's named Jack and he can rap, I'm ready to go.
I'm not sure, but he did have a pretty good match with Matt Hardy back not too long ago. Now, get into some more of the weirder things. You're Ike the Bite. You bite people. Anybody have a funny taste?
Anyone have a funny taste? Not gonna name names here, but there's one time I was in a UFO battle royal, and I bit this one dude. He's a pretty big dude, and I'm pretty sure he didn't wash his gear ever. And I'm like, oh, God, dang. Well, you know what? We all have our days. Maybe he's just having a sweaty day.
Instant regret. That was probably the moment he was like, fuck this shit. Especially with the pandemic. Like, fuck this.
Yeah, that was the moment I was like, I gotta stop biting people. I gotta start using the claw.
Yes, it finally backfired. Kaliko, you have a colossal question.
We getting there. Whew, all right. So picture this, my man, Ike. You become the biggest wrestler in the world. So big that you get movies made about you. You know, you're up there with the Hogans and the Flairs. You get movies about you. Get a nice hotshot actor like Ryan Reynolds who wants to willing to grow his hair out and go black just to be you. Every movie has a soundtrack. Up until this point in your career, during this part of your career, what 5 songs best resonate with your wrestling career?
Oh, that's a really good question. Songs that resonate with my wrestling career, I feel like the ones just resonate with my personality and just life in general. Like the song I've been using as a theme song now, "Ain't No Rest for the Wicked."
Ooh,
I feel like that would be a pretty good one to
Ooh.
go with.
that is a very good one.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
What's the other one? It's the Rage Against the Machine song, a really popular one. For some reason, I always listen to it. Now I can't even think of the name of it. But let's see what else.
Bulls on a Parade.
No, not Bulls on a Parade. It's it goes you might have to edit this out, but it's basically the lyric is like, "Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me" at the end. And that resonates with me mainly because I'm just like screw people. If you don't have any good advice to give me, I'm not gonna listen to you. Screw off. But so 3 more songs we got here. What else is a good another 3 songs that I really resonate with my career? Pony, definitely Pony.
Genuine?
Yes, that was
Wow.
which I actually used one time in a match where I was wrestling with one of my trainer's girlfriends. It was a really weird match. You could probably find it on YouTube.
Oh my God. We're finding it.
Yeah,
You gave me homework. I need to find that.
Yeah,
Genuine Pony.
Vanity Vixen is her name.
You don't know how big that song was in the 90s. Ooh, James, you don't know how big that song was in the 90s.
I think I might be not in the 90s, but I do know the song.
Oh,
Yeah, you know the song, but that song, man.
That was a classic.
That was a panty dropper, James.
The Rage Against the Machine song, "Killing in the Name," is that the one?
Yes. Thank you. That's like one of my favorite songs, and like you put me on the spot. I can't remember.
It would be the first time. So we got 3 now.
And the last 2 I would have to say is "Superstar" by Saliva and "Go for Broke."
Damn. This is one of our best playlists, ain't it, Kaliko?
Our most diverse, I'll say that.
Yeah.
That's pretty. Yeah, yeah. Rage Against the Machine.
All different types of music that get me certain
Go
ways.
for Broke. Ain't No Rest for the Wicked. And Pony. I can dig it.
But now, do you lock it in?
What was that?
Do you lock it in?
Out of my final picks.
Yeah. Are you locking it in? No going back.
Yep.
Those are definitely your 5 songs.
Yep, that's what I'm going with.
All right.
I mean, it's Pony. You gotta go with it. That Pony just doesn't come out of your ass, James.
Now, you're a Knights of the Old Republic fan. Can you tell us about your experience with that game?
Oh, that was a fun game as a little kid. For some reason, I never owned it, but I literally rented it from Blockbuster like 100 times, and it was just a super fun game. I always enjoy. I like Star Wars. I like RPGs, and that was like the quintessential Star Wars game for me, and RPG, honestly, until I probably played Morrowind. But it was just an all-around hell of a game. I thought the story was real deep, and it's just as a kid, it was like, oh, there's so much to explore in here. So a whole new Star Wars universe that I haven't seen before. So overall, probably one of my favorite games of all time.
All right. And man, you just took me back when I used to rent video games at Blockbuster. For me, it
Yeah,
was
did
Hollywood Video, but
I age myself with that one?
oh no, I used to do it too.
No, because we're in the same generation.
There we go.
People don't understand. You had to pay what just to rent them for 2 days? Like, yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Sometimes you had to take the late fee too. You know, that's true. I'll pay the extra $5. I'm gonna hold it an extra day or two.
Oh, I did
And
that
no
a lot.
And no guaranteed copies. When you go behind it and there's usually have it behind the little display, and if there's none behind the display, you pissed as hell.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Blockbuster.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
People just don't understand these days how awesome Blockbuster was as an experience.
Oh yeah. I used to hold like Austin Powers 2 on hostage. Like that was to me the greatest movie of all time. I held that movie for like a month. I was like, fuck it, I'll eat the piece.
Goldmember was my favorite, but that's probably because I like when I saw it in theaters with my dad when I was like whatever 10 or something. And I'm just thinking about Goldmember right now. I love Gold. It was great.
See, that's what I'm saying. I think Austin Powers, though, I think you would agree with me. Austin Powers is probably the best comedy trilogy of all time.
Yeah, it's not the best. It's definitely in the conversation. It's up there. Can't really think of too many other comedy trilogies to compete with.
Yeah, and plus, but it's also the only movie where like the other two were better than the first one.
That doesn't usually happen.
Which never happens.
Yeah, even with like The Hangover, the last two got progressively worse. Still solid, but progressively worse. I think Austin Powers got progressively better.
I think that's with most movies. Like the second and third never really hold to the first one.
Yeah, that is usually a trend, but it's not always the absolute guarantee. But that does happen a lot. It's a pretty safe bet if you were going to bet on if the second one's going to be as good as the first one, and you say no, you're probably coming back with some money.
I know.
The sequels that I could think that were really good that really trumped the original was Empire Strikes Back and The Winter Soldier, because those were really two solid movies.
Yeah, those are two good examples of the sequel being just as good or better.
Yeah, but The Winter Soldier, it was like once you found out old boy killed spoiler alert. Once you found out old boy killed Iron Man's parents, he's like, what the?
But that was in the third one.
That was in the third one, but I'm just saying, but it was getting to that point. So like he did all this whole thing to try to save his friend, and then his friend did this dumb shit, and he's still stuck with his friend. So that's what I was talking about. It was just the arc to that, right? He was caping for somebody who fucked up.
It was a complicated relationship. So you did say you're a Star Wars fan. Which one's your favorite?
Which one's my favorite? I'd have to say Return of the Jedi.
That's a good one.
Oh yeah.
I'm also not one of the people who hate on the middle series, the prequel series. I did enjoy those, but maybe that was just because I was a kid watching them and they just give me good memories. But overall, I thought they were not the best movies ever, but I don't think they were trash. That's a lot of people like to put them in.
Oh yeah, they get a lot of shit. The middle ones, I don't get it.
I had a friend that was like crapping on them, and I was like, well, maybe the story wasn't as good as the originals, but the graphics was a lot better. The music was incredible, and it had some of the best and most iconic fight scenes in all of cinema. So you can't say like they wasn't as good.
Yeah, you got one of the coolest characters in there, Darth Maul. So
Exactly. I mean, I have the lightsaber to prove it.
And you got Samuel L. Jackson as a damn Jedi.
I'm just waiting for the Marvel Star Wars crossover, and I want to see Fury and Mace Windu go at it.
Oh my God,
That's
guarantee. That's where I would do a prop bet over under motherfuckers that would be said.
But it would have to be on a plane with snakes, right?
Playing with snakes, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
And last
I'm
Star
sure
Wars
Disney owns that too.
and last question about Star Wars: did Han shoot first?
Ah, that's a tough one, depending on who you ask. But I'm gonna go and say yes. Han shot first.
Now, does that
Because
make him continue?
Han's the shoot first, ask question later guy.
Now, does that make him a heel, or does that just he was protecting himself? He knew what was coming.
It makes him a guy who takes no chances.
I love that answer.
Like I'm in a rough situation. I don't know what this alien looking dude is gonna do. I'm just gonna take him out.
See, he's gonna take his side. This guy pulled out a crowbar on his friend. That's what this is the stuff. Yo, you don't leave it up to chance. And I like people like Ike who don't leave it to chance. Because I want to live to tell the story, damn it.
Ike stabbed first. Now, on to a controversial subject. Pineapple on pizza. What's your stance?
If you want to have it, go ahead. But I never have, and I mean, I'm not gonna order it and spend money on it. But if it's there, I'll try it.
All right.
So
Well,
I'm not sure that's a good answer, but it's a diplomatic answer. Let's go with that.
Well, I mean, it's a great answer, but some people are very pro and some people are very anti, and those people really do clash.
Yep.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of heat there with the pineapple and the non-pineapple people. I was in a locker room once in like Capitol Wrestling, and JJ Adams like randomly looked at me and he was like, "Hey, pineapple on pizza or no?" And I'm like, "I don't know. Yeah, have it if you want." And then he turns to like somebody at them with like justification. See.
I don't know
Like a
why.
massacre brawled out.
I don't know why it's so controversial, but it is.
I guess that's the bar. I mean, pineapple on pizza is like Bloods and Crips, I think. It's either you with it or you get it. It's like probiotics or antibiotics. What? There is no middle. You either for it or...
Okay, I just have some biotics.
Yeah, I just have biotics. Exactly, right?
Is there biotics available anywhere? Can I go to CVS?
You know what I mean? Like, damn, I just can't even be in the middle with it.
What's your spirit Pokemon?
My spirit Pokemon? I like Charizard. Let's go with Charizard.
Ooh,
An OG. All right.
an OG.
Now,
And he went the evolved OG, not the
Yeah.
baby OG.
He didn't go with Charmander. He went fully evolved Charizard. Yeah.
Because I felt like I know why. Because Charmander was too cute. Like Charizard, like don't fuck with me. It was like I'll be cool, but don't fuck with me. So I get it.
Well, Charmeleon was in between.
But God damn it, I totally forgot all this shit. I'm old, James. I'm old.
I don't know. I haven't done anything with Pokemon since Pokemon Snap on the 64. So shit,
Ooh,
I
wow.
don't remember at all.
Damn, now that's all.
I don't know. We'll go even further back.
Well, James, in case you haven't noticed, there used to be this thing called a Nintendo 64.
I
And
had
they
it,
had the
and
greatest-
I actually played that game.
Okay, I was about to say, because, we have to forgive us, Ike. We have to do, like, intro to old shit with James.
I had a Nintendo 64. I played all those games.
Hey, just to let, what did we just say? Han Solo, take no chances.
And the weirdest thing you'll ever be asked on a wrestling podcast. Would you ever consider wrestling a Rock? Not Dwayne Johnson, not the country, an actual Rock.
I mean, sure. I'll just take the quick W. He can't kick out or do anything. He's just gonna lay there. So sure, I'll take the wins when I can get them.
Well, just for context, there's this guy named Psycho Mike that wrestled an actual Rock for over 15 minutes in what was dubbed a Tungsten Man match, an Iron Man match that lasted for 2 weeks.
It must be some really evolved Rock.
Well, I mean, it was a normal Rock, but
It was
it did beat him 319 times in 2 weeks.
I gotta
Rock
find a
got
tape
some
for
dubs.
that. You
Oh,
too.
we'll give it to you. We
I'll-
will give it to
I
you.
will send it to you. You will not be the first one. I've sent that to you.
I appreciate it. That's something I can't imagine. I gotta see it for myself.
It's definitely something you have to see to believe. And
That's for sure.
we love Tracy Smothers on the show. In honor of Tracy, do you know the acronym for Doug?
The acronym for Doug?
No.
Thug.
Oh yeah. No, I still don't know.
Well, T is for terrible, H is for hell, U is for ugly, and G is for jail. 'Cause a Doug can't spell.
I'm gonna have to remember that one.
Kaliko, you have any last questions?
Man, he got all of my questions except for the one if the NBA on NBC song is one of the greatest basketball songs of all time. True or false?
True. I think that's the quintessential basketball song of all time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it is now once again time for that segment, Ike's Bizarre Adventure. You're a pro wrestler that goes up and down the roads, and weird, crazy, and bizarre things are bound to happen. Can you tell us a story that fits that description?
Fortunately, I haven't had too many weird things happen. There was one time where I was coming up from I forget where I was. I was coming up from like New York and New Jersey, and I stopped at a rest stop in Connecticut. And it was like midnight or 1 a.m, and I was walking back out to my car, and this like dude in like a flannel, gray beard, like probably like in the 60s or 70s, with a voice like this, said, "You have a problem with bikers?" And I was like, "No, not particularly. Do you?" And he's like, this lady was in the bikers, and she hates bikers." And I was like, "Oh, well, I'm so sorry that you had that experience." And I just kept on walking in my car. I'm like, "Oh, what's this damn dude talking about bikers at 1 a.m. at a rest stop?" I just got probably like dropped in my head 4 times tonight. I got another 2 hours ahead of me. I'm going home. But and as far as any other experiences, I had nothing really weird, but I mean, I was like, for some reason, like one time coming back from Vermont, it took me like on New York, I should say, it took me through. It usually would take me down onto like I-90, easy ride. But this time it took me like through Vermont and New Hampshire, and it's taking me through all these back roads, and it's like I'm literally going up this hill that my car can barely make it up, and it looks like something you'd see in like the Check the Chainsaw Massacre, and I'm like, damn, my car gonna break down here, and like Leatherface gonna pop out. Wasn't really a weird experience, just like an eerie experience, more or less. It was like nobody on this road, and it's like a dirt road. I'm like, why is my GPS taking me this really screwed up way home right now? But for the most part, I've been odd experience free. But if any future ones happens, I'll keep you guys updated.
Oh, please let us.
So going through that road, was it through Google Maps or Apple?
I think it was Google Maps I was using.
I feel like I knew it because Google be taking you through some crazy ass shit.
Yeah, and I was like,
bro.
And I've been there before, and it's never taken me that way before. It's always taken me the most direct way. And this time, I don't know if I accidentally turned tolls off or something, but it was taking me every which way but loose. It took me like into Massachusetts, like in the middle of Massachusetts, and had me take like Route 2 back. And I'm like, why is it wide? It's like the longest, most convoluted way I could possibly went.
Google be trying to get the. I feel like when they do that shit, they be trying to get their Google Earth updated, and you're just the human spokesperson for it to see if it exists. Like, I swear to God.
Probably. I should get some royalties for that if that's the case.
I know, I do too. I feel you. See, we gonna petition.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Google
If you're
Maps.
listening, Google,
Google
we want our
Maps
money.
worked for me. MapQuest was like they would give you literally the longest route possible to get there.
Bro, MapQuest, I had to print that bitch out. That's
Yeah,
how long ago
that's
MapQuest.
what I was gonna say. Does MapQuest have like an app now? Because I just remember printing a paper out and like hoping for the best.
And
That and the road atlases.
That was really rolling the dice. Printing out the map from MapQuest.
Man, I couldn't imagine like being a wrestler or anyone really on the road and being before GPS. Like you're trying to navigate a map while driving, you have no clue if where you're going or if this map is even up to date. Like when the roads are updated.
And then it was in like the regular map. It was like that big ass folding map from the gas station that would take up all the windshield of the car.
Yeah, like I get enough anxiety traveling with a GPS. Like, am I gonna make it on time? Is it taking me the right way? What's going on? And doing that, I'd probably just have like outright panic attacks the whole drive.
on a more serious note, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Where do I see myself in 5 years? Improved greatly over where I am today in just all aspects of life. I'm the type of person who, like, I'm 29 now, and I make jokes saying, "Oh, I'm getting too old," but I don't. But I personally feel like, well, I'm still relatively young, and I don't see why going into my 30s or beyond should be going backwards. I should be improving physically, mentally. I should be in better health than I am now, and I would like to, as far as wrestling goes, I would have liked to at least in 5 years from now be working or have been working or had the opportunity to work for a major company, at least get the chance to be there. Maybe not necessarily working there, but get a chance to make it happen, be in front of them, and so forth.
All right. And what is a match people should go out of their way to see that best shows off what Ike is all about?
Oof. That's a tough one. I would have to say, probably the match that I just recently had, like with Mike Montero. I feel like that was a good example of what I am and what I'm trying to go for now. Obviously, I want to make some adjustments and stuff, but I think that was a pretty good example for me. Also, that Vandy Vixen match, just cause.
A pony.
Yeah, Pony. You got just cause Pony was there.
And
Oh, I tell you something about that match. It was the funniest thing. Before I even went out, like Brian Fury was there. He was one of the guys that trained me, and he's like standing in Gorilla or whatever, and the music. He didn't know I was using Pony. He heard Pony, and he looked at me with like a "What the hell are you doing?" look on my face. And then like my other trainer, like the girl I was working, that was my other trainer's girlfriend, Amato, and he just and he came up with most of the ideas for that match. So just if you go back and watch it, just have that in mind that her boyfriend was one of my trainers, and he was the one who came up with half the stuff for me to do.
Oh my God. I could see it when that Bill. It's like, what the fuck? Because it's like, that's what it is. Because Pony has like that direct sound correlation. That's why it's a classic. As soon as you hear that, you're like, what in the? Especially in a wrestling match, I can see that happening. I'm surprised.
And the thing about that is, like, I've worked there a few times since, and I keep forgetting to send them new music. So every time I've worked there since they play Pony, I'm like, damn it, why you guys play Pony? It was that one time only. It was for the perfect. It was in context. Now it's just completely out of context.
It's like one song and one song only. That's what they did. You played that song, and they were like, we're gonna go with one song and one song only.
Anytime you hear it, it's it. It's what it's got to be. Oh man.
Oh God, I love those. I love these stories. Love them.
And since we're nearing the conclusion of this interview, we are wrestling with the 8 questions of doom.
Doom will not be incurred. I feel like I have to say that for Scooter. Shout out.
Yeah, shout out to Scooter. This is our bonus round, our speed round, the round where we see who you really are. Are you ready, Ike?
Go for it.
Excluding yourself, greatest wrestler of all time.
My favorite or just the greatest in my opinion.
Either one. I mean,
Greatest in
you
your
as-
opinion. Let's
In
go.
your opinion, yeah.
Great.
Greatest in my opinion, probably Ric Flair. Favorite DDP. I'll give you both.
All right.
Ooh, DDP.
DDP super underrated.
Very much.
Hella underrated.
Yeah.
Tremendously.
Worst wrestler of all time.
Worst wrestler of all time. That's a tough one. Maybe Brackus.
Ooh.
I saw like he had like one match and he never showed up again, and I saw it and I know why.
Your main event in WrestleMania for the World Championship. Who is your opponent?
My opponent. Oof, that's a good one. Let's go with The Rock, and why not?
Yeah, why not? Wait,
Why
the
not?
actual Rock or Dwayne Johnson? Rock?
A triple threat match. Dwayne Johnson,
Triple
Rock,
threat match.
with a takeoff.
Literally the Rock at a hard place match.
There you go, Rock in a hard place match.
If you could come out to anyone's entrance music, past or present, who would it be?
Man, I already did that, Pony.
Yeah,
Genuine.
Even reading it, I kind of felt like I knew the answer.
We're taking that. We are. I know we usually have to be wrestling themed, but
No,
I feel that is the exception
It's
of
the
all
exception to the
exceptions.
rule. If it's a good song,
Exception.
it's an exception. Finish the sentence. Kayfabe is.
What was that? Sorry, I was too busy giggling to myself.
Finish the sentence. Kayfabe is.
On life support, but I feel like sneakily making a comeback
Alright.
in a different way than it was in the past, for better or worse.
Squash. Fruit or vegetable?
Fruit.
That is correct.
That is correct.
No
It's
rant, Kaliko.
No rant. Because he said pony, so it kind of levels out.
Alright. You are still in good graces with Kaliko Yachts, who will fight somebody if they say squash is a fruit and not a vegetable.
Well, I apologize.
No, you're fine. New Japan wrestler Taichi, his ring gear gets smaller every year, revealing more of himself to the world. My question, what is the appropriate trunks to butt cheek ratio for ring gear?
I mean, I think that all depends on the ass. If you got a great ass, flaunt it if you want. And if you don't, then maybe you want to cover it up. But I mean, that's all subjective, I guess. So, as much
Great
as you
answer.
want.
And the main event, the last question, the thing everybody wants to know. Have you ever had a conversation with a stranger in a supermarket about Darby Allin?
I've had a lot of conversations with strangers in the supermarket. Some about wrestling, but none about Darby Allin.
And that is the correct answer. And that will conclude this interview. Thank you so much, Ike, for coming on and doing this with us.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It was fun. I hope you have me again sometime.
Oh, absolutely. We had a blast as well. Once again, could you tell us where we can find you on social media?
On social media, on Facebook, you can find me. Just look up Ike, and you should find my wrestling page up there. And on Twitter, the handle is Ike The Bite. The handle will be tweeting all the time, so he'll give you some gems every now and then. So go ahead and follow.
Absolutely. And if you like what we're doing, please like, subscribe, comment, both on YouTube and Castbox. Of course, this interview was sponsored by Rogue Energy. Use promo code WRESTLINGWITHE for 10% off your next purchase. Join us next Wednesday as we interview Alexia Nicole. And you can follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Wrestling with E for all your wrestling with entertainment needs. Follow us individually as well. I am at JamesJ993. Where can they find Kaliko?
You can find me playing every variation of the Pony song by Genuine at I Am Kaliko.
And of course, you can follow Scooter at Scooter Dust. Join him on the Remix and on the Smoking Dragons podcast on Twitch as well. Okay, Ike, when I say wrestling wit, you say entertainment, alright?
All right.
For our very special guest, Ike The Bite, Kaliko Yacht, Scooter Dust, I'm James J, and this has been Wrestling Wit.
Entertainment.
Which, I mean,
Yeah, essentially.
I'm not far behind you. This computer that I'm talking to you right now on is over 10 years old, so I'm not one to judge.
Yeah, I know. My computer I have has been like 13 years old. I know I've never used it because it barely runs. That's why I'm using my phone. You need to invest in a new one. So.
yeah, y'all got computers that's about to get driver's licenses and shit. What the hell is
Yeah, really. I've had a computer since before I had a driver's license.
you know what I'm saying? Like, shit.
I mean,
Like,
it's all this
damn.
shit, but I mean, it still works for me.
Then don't go to Best Buy because that's gonna be a whole fucking universe for you.
Never go to Best Buy because they'll take every penny in your wallet and more for something you can probably get cheaper elsewhere.
Oh
yeah,
my
probably.
god.
I don't
like-
remember, but I think that I actually do think that this laptop was purchased at Best Buy. I don't remember, but
I'm surprised they didn't try to get you on the Geek Squad because that's where they get you. Would you like the Geek Squad life support for only?
Yeah, I'm like, I can handle most of that myself. Thank you very much.
I'm like, if it doesn't get set on fire, then I'll be okay. Just don't need you, okay?
But I feel like a lot of computers nowadays, there is a likelihood that they do catch on fire.
I mean, if they're made by Samsung, possibly.
I mean, yeah, Samsung had one that literally blew up. Blew up metaphorically and literally.
Yeah, I know. I had a Galaxy like that Galaxy. I was like, oh crap, am I gonna go on fire? But like, oh, it's only the Note. It's only the Note. I don't have the Note, so let's hope this one is good. But anytime that thing was overheating, I was waiting.
I know, it feels like a detonator or some shit.
Like I got the fire extinguisher. I started throwing. I throw it across in the field. Like okay, like I'm throwing a frisbee. Just like get away from me. Oof.
Like a modern day Hurt Locker movie. That's what it was.
Pretty much. But again, it was great talking to you guys, and hopefully I can talk to you soon. And what day did you say was going to podcast drop? November 3rd?
November 3rd, yeah. I send it out on Twitter and Instagram. You will be tagged. If you could just give us a retweet, that'd be greatly appreciated.
Oh, I'll give you a couple of retweets. Don't worry about it.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night, everyone.
You too.
Hey guys, this is Brutal Bob Evans from Hangs with Bob Seminars and TheWrestleLife.com, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment, one of my favorite podcasts in the whole wide world.
Hey folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show, support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.